They'd load the monuments onto a wagon and down they'd come here to Oakwood Cemetery.
BusinessJournalDaily.com 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
I like a bank that's a pillar in my community.
I like a bank so cutting edge, they have a lab branch.
We are so alike.
Well, we do both bank at Farmers National Bank.
Farmers.
Stand strong.
A year ago in September, we bought this off of the original family that started this in 1890. It had been in the Corbin family since 1890. In fact, they started up here, I believe it's Market Street where the Horseshoe Bar is. That's the Corbin building. And they started there, from what I understand, is because it had a livery stable in the back, and that's where they kept the horses. And so they'd load the monuments onto a wagon and down they'd come here to Oakwood Cemetery. They built this, started in 1920 building this place because it was out in the country. And it had a railroad spur here, and so they would get the monuments in on box cars and unload them, and things kind of evolved from there.
How does one get into this business?
Strictly by accident. No, my father, when we were growing up, did final date engravings on stones, where you would go right to the cemetery after somebody passed away and had their final dates. And he would load my mom and my brother and my sister up, and we'd go kind of with them and of course play around in the cemetery while he was doing that. And then as I got older, I had an aunt and an uncle down in southern Ohio that had a monument shop and would work for them during the summers. So it's kind of always been around. I mean, you have a few places where they don't actually do any of the work like we do here. They just kind of sell out of a catalog. So, I mean, you have that segment, but most of the places that have a working shop are generational.
Tell me about some of the things you guys do on a daily basis here. You know, what kind of things go on from like start to finish? Different cemeteries, different regulations, so we kind of find out where the cemetery is, what their lot is, what the requirements are, so we check with the cemeteries. We lead them through and see, you know, what type of monument they can use, colors, shapes, sizes. Once that's done, we hand it off to our designer, Ron, and he goes and does a computer-generated design for them. When Ron does his layout out there, he'll transfer it to a plotter, and it'll actually plot out the lettering and the design on the stone. This one's not quite ready to go into sandblast. We'll have to patch all of this so nothing, you know, hits it. And then he'll put it into the sandblast, and as long, like I say, as that's running, it'll lead into this granite and it'll bounce off of this rubber template. I kind of grew up around it, kind of fell into it, and I really don't know anything else right now, you know. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it. It's a tough time for people, but when you work with them and you get the finished product and they call and say, you know, thanks, it's just what I wanted, it's gratifying.
BusinessJournalDaily.com 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
I like a bank that's a pillar in my community.
I like a bank so cutting edge, they have a lab branch.
We are so alike.
Well, we do both bank at Farmers National Bank.
Farmers.
Stand strong.